Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that long list of designation and other things. So can't help it. I had two different departments. So one with I'm the director of Department of Electronics, IT, and BT, and under the same department there is a Section 8 company. A company called KITS, Karnataka Innovation and Technology Society. I'm the managing director of that. So good evening to one and all. I believe that Secretary Ma'am had come in the morning, right, Anurag? Yes, so Madam had come in the morning and she would have spoken about our new GCC policy that we'll be unveiling soon, probably in 3 to 4 days. And we are hoping to listen to all of you, your feedbacks and your suggestions regarding that. And first of all, thank you, Elets, and the team for inviting me to this event. It's always a pleasure to be a part of such technological events where we can come and share some insights and look into the suggestions. That's how we always try to excel from the department's side. So let me be very brief on as a representative of Government of Karnataka, I would like to talk about our policies and what we are looking at the future, how we look at GCC as a future as growth aspect for Karnataka and also the ecosystem. So giving you a brief introduction about how GCCs actually emerged in Karnataka. If you all of you would know that before Bangalore was designated as the IT capital, we were just something similar to offshore capital. We were BPO capital. So initially it was cost effective. We had the talent which was unutilized or underutilized during that time. We had a lot of MNCs that looked into the human capital and also the resource capital of this land. They came here, set up the BPOs. Initially, it was more like a service oriented, like a call center, like some kind of processes and other things. From there, through the IT bubble, during the late 1990s and the 2000s, we started looking at IT and IT enabled services as a part of it. So we started producing more and more engineering, computer softwares, information technology, information science and other things. So we started adding a bit of value to each and every process that the companies were doing. So from the limited offshore capability centers, we started moving one step ahead or one floor ahead, and we started calling ourselves as the IT capital, where more IT and ITES services were there. Then after that, many MNCs and the companies started realizing the huge market and also the huge human capital, I would say, that is prevalent in this part of India. So that is where more and more research and development centers started coming here. So this is somewhere around I would say late 2005, 2010. So that is where a lot of R&D centers started coming here. You name any MNCs out of the top 500 global, companies that are there, Fortune 500 companies, more than 400 are actually based out of or have their bases in Karnataka or Bangalore, and almost all of them have their research centers or some or the other labs, either a testing lab or a research center or an R&D center in this particular part of India. So that is how we started emerging. And now, as of today, if someone is talking about Global Capability Center, they just don't talk about the R&Ds and other stuff. They also look into any kind of addition to the value chain. So that might be with respect to, decreasing the process that takes there, or increasing the value in the supply chain, or decreasing the time that is required to get one product or the either like a finished product or anything to the other aspect. And majorly it's all about the innovation and the invention that actually takes place in these centers. So having said this, India as of now is the global GCC capital, and Bangalore, especially Karnataka, takes a huge chunk of that in that. So as of now, we are proud to say that we have close to 460 plus and counting, of course, GCCs that are there, and the people who are working here account to 35% of the total people that are working on GSCs in India. So that is the share of Bengaluru and Karnataka that we are talking about. And as you all know, that many states are vying to attract more and more GCCs. But still, Karnataka is the first state which is going to come up with a new GCC policy. The new GCC policy, the draft policy will be out in a matter of 4-5 days. It will be open for public scrutiny, for industry scrutiny and academia scrutiny. All kind of feedbacks and suggestions are really welcome. And through this particular event platform, I would request all of you to please go through it, because this is the one of a kind that we have started and no other state has actually reached this stage yet. And we would like your support in building a better future for the GCCs. So talking about Karnataka, we have come up with a lot of policies. IT policies was one, biotechnology is the other, AVGC, that is animation, visual effects, gaming and comics, is the other. We even came up with the first startup policy, which was followed by Government of India startup policy. We came up with ESDM, Karnataka ESDM policy, followed by the special incentive schemes under ESDM 1. And then we also came up with the recently data center policy, and we also came up with the cyber security policy. All of these policies were not actually initiated by Government of Karnataka. It was actually initiated by the industry partners or the industry stakeholders. They are like, that's how it always works. So the industry partners or the stakeholders come to us and they're like, hey, look, these are the requirements of the industries and these are the requirements that are needed for the development of the ecosystem. And that is how all these policies were built in collaborations with the industry stakeholders as of now. The same thing was, with respect to GCCs. Also, it was the heads of the major GCCs that we have in Bangalore, close to 460s. During one of the interactions or the roundtable interactions that we had, they had requested that Karnataka should take lead in coming up with a separate GCC policy instead of aligning it either as a R&D policy or with respect to IT or any kind of BT. So GCCs, global capability centers, occupy a very prominent leadership role in this part of ecosystem culture that we are looking at. So considering Karnataka, why Karnataka? Why a new GCC who is looking into setting up their shop in India or in southern India, or a GCC who is looking into expansion should consider Karnataka? The first one is always the ever expanding talent pool that is prevalent here. Due to the cosmopolitan culture of Bangalore and Karnataka as a state, we not only find the local people here, the local talent, it is also the amalgamation of people from across the states in India. So that is how these are built. We have close to 50% of AI ML talent that is prevalent in India today in Karnataka alone, with 52 top universities, 243 engineering colleges today, and 1,177 industrial training institutes, that is ITIs. We boast about our educational culture that we have always looked into with respect to the educational system in Karnataka. Government of Karnataka also came up with a skill council, and GCC is a particular aspect that is rare because the kind of skills that a particular GCC will require would be the next level skills. It is not the basic skills that is needed. So you need a separate set of skills that the GCCs will be looking into. You can create a building, you can buy out some kind of capital expenditure, you can look into operational expenditure, but it takes a lot of time to look into skilled workforce that is available in the local talent. So that's where we have come up with the Skill Council on Emerging Technologies, headed by our Honorable Minister for Department of Electronics, IT and BT. So we have come up with 10 working groups, and the working group that looks into GCC as a part of it has already given its input with respect to that. And based on such many inputs, Government of Karnataka recently announced a scheme called Nipun, which means excellence, of course, where we try to interact with the companies, including GCCs, where they come and say, hey, look, these are the kind of sets of skills that we require, and these are not taught in any of the universities. So to bridge that gap from what is being taught in the universities or the colleges and what is required from the industry partners, we have come up with this scheme where we actually look into funding, we look into training it ourselves according to the industry standard, and then give them the available talent pool so that they can pick and choose from them. out of them, and they don't have to indulge in all this lengthy and cumbersome process of hiring. So coming back to that, we also boast about a lot of PSUs. HAL was the one that was there. BEL was the one. BEML was the one that initially came up. It was also a lot of MNCs actually looked into this part of India as their base. We also, with respect to educational institutions, we can talk about Indian Institute of Science, then IIM Bangalore, Triple IT Bangalore, Triple IT Dharwad, Triple IT Raichur, IIT Dharwad. These are the prestigious institutions where we could attract young and young talents that are looking into these emerging technologies as a part of their curriculum. So the second part is the R&D. As I mentioned, any kind of research and development that happens in India, there will be someone who will be linked into our ecosystem that is prevalent here, either at the initiation of the project or the execution of it, and finally the implementation of the arrived result that comes with the testing and research and development aspect. The third one is, of course, the startup ecosystem. Bangalore or Karnataka, or particularly Bangalore, is the startup capital of India. We are ranked 8 according to Global Startup Ecosystem Index 2024 by Startup Blink, and we are ranked 20 according to Genome Startup Ecosystem Report 2023. This is something that Government of Karnataka really boasts about, and our efforts in strengthening the startup ecosystem, we have come up with n number of schemes to boost this startup ecosystem. One of them is the Elevate scheme, where we have funded close to 973 startups over a period of 6 to 7 years, and that will amount to, each and every startup will require a certain number of grants, and we provide up to 50 lakhs for each of these winners, and this happens every year. And we also have come up to encourage the entrepreneurship in the colleges, in the schools. We have come up with NAIN scheme, that is the New Age Innovation Network, where we try to inculcate entrepreneurial spirit in our students, and we also fund their projects up to 5 lakhs depending on the workability of those ideas. And we also have anchor institutes like Triple IT Raichur, Triple IT Dharwad, Triple IT Bangalore here, and the other prestigious institutions where they mentor these institutions and these projects, so that the entrepreneurial spirit in them will be inculcated not only with respect to these projects, but also next when they come out of the college atmosphere. And Bangalore has rightly received close to 40% of VC's funding in the year 2023, when it was called as funding winter throughout the world and also in India. And the last one I would say about the friendly government policies, my dear friends, every government that has come up in Karnataka, that has taken part in Karnataka, they have always honored the previous commitments of the previous governments. No government has actually gone back on the commitment that was made with respect to the industry incentives and the other things. So it is a continuous chain of process, irrespective of which government is in power in Karnataka. So these business-friendly atmosphere, these business-friendly policies that the government takes will give a robust platform for the entrepreneurial spirit that can happen, and also the existence of the private ecosystem in Karnataka. So having said this, again, I request all of you, I thank some of you who are present here, and also our industry partners and organizations for helping us in framing this new GCC policy. The draft will be out in few days, and I hope all of you would take some time on your busy schedule to look into it and reach out to us with any suggestions or any kind of feedbacks would be welcome with respect to that. So having said this, it's a very good interaction that we would be having here, and thanks for inviting me and making me a part of this lovely event. So thank you very much.